Good evening, America. Welcome back to another episode of Break the Machine podcast. Tonight, we are supposed to have the real Tom Lee Booze. We hope that that happens. He is running late. He's caught in traffic on the way to his next destination here in the U.S. That was at about 6:30, so hopefully he will get back to us and will join us. But in case that doesn't happen, myself and Red Day will just do what we always do. We roll through it. But I'm paying attention to my phone. Hopefully, we'll get a message that he's in his destination and that he'll be showing up. So let's first things first. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a buy me a coffee link at the top of each chat in both Rumble and YouTube. Don't forget to pick up your Scars and Stripes coffee. You will see that ticker going across that has my affiliate link and the code that's supposed to be in there. And if it's not, the code is Big Red all caps. So without further ado, let's bring in a big homie. Okay. Yeah, Big Red and the Red Day. I almost called him Big Red.
You there? I can't hear you, man. Is your audio? I can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now? Yeah. So
Something
my
just
audio is
happened.
just yeah. So you guys
Ah,
probably didn't
ah.
hear me. So you guys probably didn't hear me the real time because my freaking sound
Oh,
wasn't
I heard
working. I
that part.
apologize. Oh, okay.
I heard the intro part. For some reason, as
Oh,
soon as
okay.
you threw it to me, all of a sudden you
It
went
just went
dead.
dead. Oh, okay, good.
Yep.
So I'm glad everybody heard. So, again, real time booze. I'll be keeping an eye on my phone. Hopefully he'll join us. Maybe in the second half of the show. Hopefully before that, we'd like to know how his trip is going on here in the U.S. Um,
Oh, yeah.
you know, we just want to know that he's doing okay too, because that traffic where he's at is just insane. And I gave him that warning. I gave him a heads up about that. I said, you got to plan accordingly because the
Uh,
traffic where you're headed to get to where you're headed to, what you got to go through is just ridiculous. It's that I-95 corridor around the capital is just
Coasties is
insane.
awful.
It's
Awful.
absolutely, yeah, it is just disgusting what that traffic is like. But again, there's always things for us to talk about. Did you see how our favorite pendeja is out there fucking running her suck again?
Which one?
Well, there's the our two favorite pendejas is fucking, you know, Cratchit and AOC. But AOC's out there running her shit again. Just
Yeah.
talking shit about ICE. Here we go with her.
I
The
don't know.
pendeja. This is the pendeja in chief. Here we go. All right, she's ramping up her politically fraught
Oh,
abolish ICE messaging ahead of the 2026 midterms. She says that she believes that ICE is an agency was just formed in 2003 during the Patriot Act era, is a rogue agency that should not exist. It was actually called freaking what do you call it? Immigration and something else, and naturalization or something like that. They just changed the name, so it's actually been around forever. In the aftermath, the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is caving to President Donald Trump and congressional Republicans on the continuing resolution in March. Talk has intensified that he should be primaried in 2028. So I got a feeling. You think she's going to run against him? What do you think?
you're gonna run. Absolutely.
I think she's
Hey,
going to.
by the way,
I think she.
Rumble, something's wrong with the Rumble feed.
What do you mean? Is you can't?
People are
Did
people are
Jonathan say
saying
something?
people in the chat are saying no audio, no visual, and then when I look at it, I can't see it.
Uh huh. Son
It's
of a
still like
bitch.
it's still in the loading phase, like the loading screen.
Yeah. It says it's live here. Yeah, Rumble looks like it's being fucking stupid. We were just talking about that. Red Day and I were just talking about how Rumble needs to get their shit together.
Let me see. I didn't even pull it up on YouTube, but let me see if it's working on YouTube.
No.
People were in the chat like it was on.
Yeah, yeah, that's what. Did you guys see it prior to? Like, did you guys see us at all?
I didn't see it. That's where I remember I was looking for it, but then I had to go to your thing. I had to go to your actual page.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me make sure.
Okay, it's
This
definitely
I'm
up on
telling you, Rumble's.
YouTube.
Yeah,
YouTube is
it's
working.
and my feed is showing me. It's like I'm seeing my feed in the studio.
I'm telling everybody that the YouTube feed is up if they want to join.
Yeah. Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, I can see. I'm in their Rumble studio, and I can see it.
Did Jonathan say anything? Is he around?
Yeah, Jonathan, what do you got, brother? Says no video and audio on Rumble. Yeah, just try to push everybody to what do you call it? To YouTube.
Yeah. I'll just
Unfortunately,
keep leaving
freaking
messages over there to take everybody safe.
yeah, young Rumble's being real bunk right about now. Yeah, like I said, I could see it in this. I could see it in the studio, Rumble studio that it's playing. Right, my feed from my studio to Rumble is working.
Yeah.
Sorry everybody who's on
John,
Rumble. Come on, yeah, jump over to YouTube so we can just keep it rolling, fam. You
John
know,
or Eric, can one of you guys pin my comment just so they can see it? Can you pin my
yeah,
message?
yeah. Hang on. Let me. I can do it. I just got to scroll down and find it. That's all. You pinned.
The last one.
Wait,
Sorry, everybody.
in
Rumble's not
Rumble?
working.
Yeah,
Yeah, I pinned just in case anybody else pops in.
yeah. I pinned it.
Okay. Just so I don't feel bad if someone comes looking for me.
Yeah, yeah. I pinned it for you.
Hold on.
It's bullshit, man. Rumble needs to cut this shit out, man. We just like it's ridiculous. You know, we were just talking about this before that people haven't flocked completely to Rumble because of issues like this, right? Like
Mhm.
we should have no issues right now. Um, yeah, everybody's kind of jumped over. Appreciate you guys jumping over to YouTube, guys. Unfortunately, you know, Rumble's got their fucking heads in the clouds. I don't know what's going on. Why that should be working just fine.
Yeah.
It's just I noticed that. Let me see something. I'm gonna try something on my end, on outside of the studio. But anyway, yeah, just get into that pendeja AOC while I'm working on this.
Are you playing the video or no?
No, no, yeah.
Or
No.
we just
Just
talk
I
about
was
it?
just saying I was just reading about her. Let me finish the article, and then you can go in. She's. I was just wondering if you thought that she was
I
gonna
mean, I
run
didn't know what
against.
against
Yeah,
what's
she's
his name?
just. Yeah, against fucking Schmuck Schumer says. Though the admittedly early polling shows AOC well ahead of Schumer in a potential primary matchup, she's been mum
Yeah.
on her future plans, with some have suggested may even
I
involve a
mean,
2028 presidential run.
I mean, if I was the media team or marketing team that was like working for her, I would tell her to run. I mean, for the Democrat. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm happy that she's running. I don't think she's. But I mean, as far as like name recognition, she's not freaking ancient.
Yeah,
And for some reason, she keeps winning these elections in New York. I mean, yeah, go for it. I mean,
yeah, they
basically
keep
the same
fucking.
thing. Same thing I want Nancy Mace to do in South Carolina. I want her to go after Lindsey Graham's Senate seat and make a real serious go of it because we would love to have her over in the Senate side, get rid of that
Yeah, we'd love
rhino.
to have her. I'd hate to lose her from my district, but I
Imagine
wouldn't care. I much
swapping.
I'd hate to lose her in my district, but I'll tell you what, I much prefer her to be a senator. Um,
But
she could
yeah,
do
that's the
more.
thing, though.
She could do more as a
You could
senator.
probably find another good rep in South
Uh,
Carolina.
well,
Probably.
it's just because it's my district. My district is actually a blue district, and she keeps winning in it. Right? So
Mm.
like it's not as red. It's purple. Let's just put it. It's kind of probably purple. There's enough red infused in the area
Still,
in this
yeah.
area that she carries it, right, and she's a pretty common sense person, so people with common sense continue to vote for her in this area. So
Yeah.
with that said, I personally would give a rat's ass about that. I would much prefer her in the Senate and doing her work her
Um,
magic in the Senate. She'll have more power. She'll be able to do more things for longer periods of time, not worrying about constantly getting elected every 2 years and whatnot. So I would
she's got
definitely,
the
I'd appreciate that.
she's got the age too. She would actually. I mean, if we're not going to do term limits, and it would be
Yeah,
horrible to be stuck with her there for the next like
not at all.
15 years
Not
or
at all.
whatever.
Yeah.
Um, at least from what I can see is that she's not one of those that's just going to get in a position and then just sell out. So
No, it doesn't. She
she's
was
sticking to her
actually
guns.
she I will say this, she was a little bit she was rhino-ish in the beginning, but not a rhino. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
think she was learning how things, learning what she could do and what, and when then she realized at some point that you know what, I'm just gonna stick to my guns and do fucking what's right. Period. You
Yeah.
know, and if you notice, like in the beginning of Trump's first term, she was a little bit, people were like, but then by the
Oh, was
time,
she there? I don't
yeah,
remember that.
by the time her second half was done, she was I believe she
Mhm.
was at the end. Maybe it was the end of his second half of his term when she got elected. I can't remember when she got
I
elected.
don't remember.
Um, but definitely
It's
under
hard to
Biden,
believe.
you saw what she
It's
did.
hard. It's hard to believe that some of these people that have been in there for a while, they just weren't there during Trump's first term.
Yeah, it
You
just
know,
seemed right, but it seems like when you see them, like they've been there forever, and a lot of them
seems like
actually
it.
haven't. Yeah,
Yeah, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, she was not there. She didn't start till 2020. So
really?
yeah, well, Boebert didn't start until 2020. Like a lot of these little pistols that
I
are
don't know
in,
why it
they're in
feels.
the
I don't
House,
know.
especially.
Yeah, yeah. It just seems like I see. Right. It seems like they were there before, but you're right. You're absolutely correct. Um, you know, it's just they started. I didn't even realize that, man.
Yep.
I thought I
It's
swear I thought that
you
they
think
were
about it,
under
that's why this term. I mean, the expectations were so much higher. Are not. I'm not trying to be a doomer, Rich. They are
yeah,
so much higher because he's got like at least there's a hand. There wasn't a MAGA coalition back in 2016. That wasn't even a
yeah,
thing. That didn't start until like 2020, till he had been
yeah.
in there for 4 years.
Yeah,
And
you
it's a
know what?
shame, obviously, that he didn't make it in there because
As you just said about MTG and Bobart, fucking Mace, the same thing. 2021, bro. She started her. She got elected in 2020.
because
It
Trump
just seems like
inspired
I
a lot of
yeah, I
people
know.
to run. That's what happened. He inspired a lot of people, just like
Yeah,
the last 4 years, and COVID inspired a lot of people to run on the local level
yeah, yeah. I
because they
just
saw,
that's
shit,
crazy.
we need better representation.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just right, but it seems like because of who they are, it seems like they were there the first time, but they
Mhm.
weren't. When you look at it, I thought Nancy Mace was there. She wasn't. So correction, fam. Nancy Mace was not there during the first term. For whatever reason, I felt like she
I
was,
didn't
but it's
remember her,
okay. Yeah,
but and it's that's the thing though. So, but they all started in 2020, or a lot of them started in 2020, and Trump wasn't even the president. They were dealing with COVID. It was a weird time. I think in the first term that they were in, I don't think the Republicans held the House.
they didn't.
It was still Pelosi was still the speaker.
Yes.
I don't even know if they had the Senate. I think maybe the Senate was still a tie. I don't.
The Senate was tied, but it favored Democrats because of Kamala.
That's right. She could do the swing vote.
Yeah, she was the swing vote on like everything that went through. She was the 51st vote on just about everything.
The president of the Senate. She
Yeah,
used to call herself.
yeah. Can you just imagine that? Just fucking unreal, man. Unreal shit. But uh, the president caught two wins with the SCOTUS this week. Um, that I don't even know anybody was talking about. You know, one of them was with fucking like the environmental regulation shit. Did you see that? Did you mention? Because you
No,
usually up on all of this shit.
which
Yeah,
one?
look, this is right here. This is the red tapes. Is cutting of the red tapes. The Supreme Court of the United States narrows environmental regulation. The Supreme Court narrowed the scope of the National Environmental Policy Act (NEPA), allowing American infrastructure projects to move forward without federal agencies having to consider broad and indirect environmental impacts. I can actually attest to how these
I didn't
environmental
know that.
impacts work. Being in the construction industry for so long, I had to deal
What?
with this shit all the time.
When was
In
that
other
article?
words, this was probably this was yesterday.
Oh shit, I missed that. All right,
Yeah. It
that's a
says the
good one.
ruling directly affects a project in Utah that planned an 88-mile railroad expansion to increase the transport of crude oil. It represents a major
Mhm.
win for business and future infrastructure undertakings as the NEPA regulations can no longer require investigations into the environmental impacts upstream or downstream from the project itself. So I can tell you from like firsthand experience with environmental impacts, it was
Mhm.
absolutely, they're absolutely the worst.
Yeah.
Um, anytime you break ground, you have to do, every state does this. It's just part of the EPA regulation, and then the states have adopted their
Oh,
own
it's
rules and
awful.
regulations. Yeah. So like in New York State, when I was building in New York State, for instance, we built out in Far Rockaway, we built an extension to an existing school, and it was a whole brand new
Mhm.
building. We had this. It was a major project with as far as because we were essentially building in sand, right? Even though we weren't at the beach, we were further back from the beach. It was still sand. So it was just the engineering behind it was fantastic with the pylons and everything, how to get this building to not only stay in place, but also we did they because New York also follows like California rules, right? California has the what do you call it? The fuck them the like earthquake, the rules with earthquakes and what you have to do to your buildings so that they move, right? So we had to do the same thing out there, but the environmental impact took fucking months, bro. Right. And if it
It's
wasn't
all.
that I worked for a major
Mm.
contract what do you call it, construction management firm here in the United States, it probably would have fucking taken even longer if we were a smaller guy.
Yeah.
It just
Well,
it's just
you know who knows all about that too is Trump.
oh yeah. Oh yeah,
With
yeah.
all
Oh
the
yeah,
building
absolutely.
projects, he knows all. Yeah, he knows all too well how horrible it is.
Especially in New York,
And
right? Like
yep,
they would run him through the ringer
it's
in New
horrible.
York. It's insane. It's really
And
really insane.
Doug Burgum is like all on board with that. And I didn't see that thing about SCOTUS, but I did see that they had fast track. They cut the environmental or whatever approval down to 13 days for this. What was it? Shit.
That's good shit,
It
man.
was it was a not a lithium mine. It might have been. I think it might have been and
In
nickel
what
and
state?
vanade, Utah.
Yeah,
Um,
this I think it's all
vanadium.
this.
I think it was vanadium. It was like two. It was two minerals, and they literally from the time they put the paperwork in, they had
Yeah.
it approved in 13 days. They
13
said
days.
usually it
That's
would
good
take
shit, man.
13 months. So they're like now
That's
they're ready to
fantastic,
break.
man.
They're gonna break ground this summer. I'm like, yep,
That's
let's do it, man.
fantastic. Listen, and I'm not against, making sure we don't fucking destroy every single ecosystem around it, and we don't, we have bad practices, and we're dumping shit into rivers and everything. I'm all against shit like that, but the
Yeah,
the process to just start to break ground somewhere anywhere, okay, in the country is just
it's
because of the
ridiculous.
EPA. And then, like I said, all the states have their own laws because of the EPA regulations. All right, that it's just impossible to do any major infrastructure projects anywhere in the United States. So it's good to see that they're taking care of Utah and whatnot. I'm glad to see that.
It's all about freaking money.
It is, man.
These states, they make it horrible, and then always want to see what they can get on the back end of it.
Yeah,
Um, and it just de-incentivizes all these companies.
it does.
Um,
Right? You just don't even want
they
to do
just
anything,
passed
man.
another one. They just passed another one today too. Can't remember the name of it. He they expanded. What was it here? Shit. The Department of Agriculture. They just approved a $200 million national active forest management strategy, which is really wordy for you. I'll say it's a fancy word way of saying that they're going to boost annual
Right.
timber production by 25%. They're going to reduce the wildfire, and they're going to be creating thousands of rural jobs. And when was the last time a president did that?
Yeah.
They don't create rural jobs.
Yeah. It's true. When's the last time we did something like that? Uh,
Well, it's
Yeah,
always in the
I
cities.
I I hear you, conserve, but that's accidents do happen. But I think as far as me, I can tell you from our practice in the construction industry, having worked for several big contractors, um, you know, in the United States, that uh, our practices are pretty solid when it comes to safety and stuff like that. Do we have shit happen? We do. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we can't say we don't. That doesn't happen,
Hmm.
and whatnot. I'm talking about. when they're fucking breaking ground and just polluting absolutely everything, not cleaning up after themselves. That was something that used to be a problem in construction. I mean, like up until recently, right? Like that shit was happening, and it's a big thing now. You will fucking get hammered not only by the state but the federal government. Include we still have an EPA that will hammer you if you're just you have bad practices when you're building. You got to take things what do you call it that happened. Yeah, I'm not when yeah I'm talking about the construction and infrastructure, not the food production facilities that went up in smoke.
That's the
we
thing.
know
You
the
can,
we know those things
yes,
were not those were done intentionally. We're talking about
yeah,
infrastructure and the regulations that were preventing us from actually doing
yeah,
things because our infrastructure in this country is fucking is shot, man.
yeah. I mean, you can tell, you can, I understand everybody's concerned with, oh, well, you don't want to stress the environment, or you don't want to,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
destroy it or anything like that,
of
because it
course.
doesn't, it does not take 13 months or
Right,
more to approve something. I mean,
right.
you know, at minimum, approve it, or
Or
ban it
disprove
right
it. Right.
away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just fuck it.
Either
Why does it?
exactly. I agree with you. You're either going to be allowed to do it or you're not. It's just
Yeah,
we looked at your practices over your history of practice in construction. We see that you have a
okay.
long list of fucking just fucking up everywhere you go and then not doing any kind of cleanup or anything like that. So fuck you. You're not gonna get this your
Yeah,
environmental
something.
impact, no matter how good it is, we're not gonna give you to go.
Yeah,
I get
keeping
that. That I get.
all these companies sitting on hold. Their investors are sitting on hold. They'll probably
Yes.
lose investors waiting around that
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, well, because construction is done on loans. Okay,
Mhm.
and that's just how it is. Big construction is just done on loans. All construction really is done on loans, and you got people, who are sitting on that. All right, so it's not the middleman, the construction management and whatnot. It's not us. Okay, we're taking people's money to build. Right, so like but even we lose money too because we gotta set a
Sure.
schedule. Okay, we gotta show the client. All right, this is how long it's gonna take. Right, the client gives us a fucking essentially scope of what they want done. All right, this is what the project looks like with their engineers and their architects come. That all belongs to the owner of whatever is being built. All right, and then they come to the middleman, the construction management, okay, and say we want you to build this for us, okay, because A, B, and C, you're good at what you do and you got a history. So we're bringing this to you. You win the contract after whatever bids. Of course, there's some fucking some what do you call it? Some back deals, okay, because it's still corrupt. All right, but you'd be surprised how much it's cleaned up since the mafia and shit has been taken out of a lot of it. All right, but there's still some fucking nepotism and whatnot that goes on with big construction and everything. But again, uh, getting the regulations, it's not that we shouldn't have regulation, but like you were saying, 13 months to fucking approve something that has been you know they've given you the
Yeah.
environmental impact 13 months ago. All right, the environment's going to look different 13 months from when they gave it to you. Right, so like if you wait 13 months and then you go look at the place that they want to build on and it looks fucking a little bit different, oh well, we can't do this because this fucking bird nest is in a tree. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that, well, that bird wasn't there 13 months ago when you should have fucking approved it.
Just a waste of time. That's. I mean, that's the thing that we're trying to. That's been the whole purpose of Doge. That's been the whole
Yeah,
purpose of this whole second term of Trump with all. That's part of his agenda.
yeah,
There was, I don't remember what the exact name of the executive order was, but I guarantee you, within the first 48 hours, that was one of his executive orders was,
yeah,
um, creating more government efficiency,
right,
um, and anywhere that is, whether that means, working with fewer people, taking right steps out of the way, trying to shorten approval times. I mean,
right,
you have a boost in productivity, boost in revenue, boost in taxes, boost in everything,
yeah,
boost in jobs quicker if you just freaking stop, working at this snail's pace that, especially the federal government usually
yeah.
works at. That's why people hate going to any sort of a government office because it takes freaking
It
forever to get
it
anything.
it it is the worst, right? Government
It's horrible.
efficiency just doesn't exist. It's absolutely, it is just Even if you're just building a fucking shed, okay, in your yard, they want you to fucking
Mhm.
permit it and all that other. If you're gonna
My
put a
God.
slab of concrete in your yard, you gotta go get a fucking permit. In your yard on your property is bullshit.
Mhm.
All right. And then you gotta
Yeah.
make sure that it's, it's fits the standards that they say you can have. It's bullshit. It's a crock of shit, all of it. And it's a money grab, right? Because you got to pay for fucking permits and all kinds of fees and everything like that. Then you got to pay to build whatever it is that you're building on your own property. It's insane, man. The regulation has to stop. I'm all for, again. I'm all for making sure that people don't just come in and wreck shit, okay? And then the people who come, the end user, when they come later on, they're feeling the effects of whatever you wrecked. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all for making sure that that doesn't happen. But I'm with you 100% on 13 months is just insane, man. That shit just can't be happening. If you're just joining us, I still see that there are some people hanging on Rumble. If you're seeing me, everybody's kind of over on YouTube because
I
if
don't know if
it's
they
up
can
on
hear
Rumble
you.
again, if it's up on Rumble and you're still there and you're actually seeing it, please let us know in the chat because we'll let everybody go back to Rumble because that's where people like to hang. But right now, because
Yeah.
I'm seeing numbers. I'm
Hmm.
still seeing like 5 people hanging out over
Oh
there.
well, I was still over there. I forgot to turn mine off, so I just removed myself.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, but it's it's crazy. It's nuts. But speaking again, he caught two wins this week. I'm sure you probably saw this today. That's when I
Oh
saw
no.
it with this one. It says the Supreme Court of the United States allows the Trump administration to revoke legal status for 500,000 illegal aliens. Loving it. The Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to revoke temporary protected status for 500,000 illegal aliens living in the U.S. in a 7-2 ruling. That means one of the lefties came with us. On Friday, the justices lifted. Actually, it wouldn't be surprised if one of us was on with them. The justice lifted a lower court's order that barred the Trump administration from deporting illegal aliens from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela who entered the U.S. under the Biden administration parole program. The court's decision comes in response to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's efforts to end the Biden era parole policy that allowed migrants from the four countries to fly directly, and we've talked about this, Scott, about the direct flights into the U.S. and be transported into the interior of the country. It wasn't just the interior of the country; they wanted to saturate red states. Well, every
Yeah.
state is really a red state; it's just with blue cities. Um, yeah, so we know that he signed an executive order, right? It says on his first day back in the office, Trump signed an executive order directing the Department of Homeland Security to terminate all categorical parole programs, including the processes for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. And then in March, um, yeah, they were going to it, and
If
then
I
I think some of the lower courts were fucking with this.
as it's been going, I think if I remember reading the article, I think it was Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown were the two that dissented.
Oh, okay. So then all
I
right.
think it
So
was
all
seven
the
to two. It was a pretty overwhelming vote.
Yeah, yeah. No, I saw that it was 7-2, but I had made a comment earlier. I was like, I wonder because I made a comment initially under the assumption that one of the lefties came over with us, which it turned out they did. But then I said,
Yeah.
but you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if one of us actually went over with them,
Yeah.
and it was a so-called conservative with one of the lefties left.
It's so cold.
So it was
Wow.
Kagan who came over with us.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
She's um she's done that on even under Trump's. There was a couple of things there where she sided with the Trump administration in his
Mhm.
first term too. She's surprising.
It's just
She's fairly
weird. It's
yeah,
it's been
she's
so
surprising.
weird. Like you can't tell. Like you see something like this and you say, okay, great. But then
Yeah.
tomorrow they'll do something stupid. Like I've been
Yeah.
putting post stories up in my stories on Instagram. They just one thing after another. Like
Yeah.
SCOTUS is just acting so stupid lately.
Yeah, you just never know with them. You never know what the fuck they're
Well,
gonna
you
do.
cannot count on them. They're not
No.
supporting Trump at all. And
It's not even, by the way, man, and we've talked about this, it's not even so much that we don't want them to support any president. What we want them to do is support the fucking Constitution. That's what we want them to
well,
do,
yeah.
right? And in that case, they should be supporting Trump because he's not doing anything to violate the Constitution, right? Like it's
Mhm.
one thing if we because listen, if we thought he was doing something to violate the fucking Constitution, we would be saying that, right? We'd be like,
Yeah.
nah, fuck that. That's And anytime we're iffy on something, we bring it up, right? We're like, yeah, I don't know how they fucking do that and stuff like that. So I agree, man. It just they're just not following the Constitution, and that's what I think irks a lot of people, especially with the so-called conservatives on the court. We know that they're not. Um, we know that they're not freaking what do you call it? Conservative at all, except for
They're just
Clarence
not even
Thomas.
doing their job half the time.
Yeah.
There's been things that piss me off with it. They're just not taking up cases. It's
Yes,
like,
that
come
is
on.
what's very frustrating, where they keep kicking it back to the lower
Mhm.
courts because they don't want to make a decision, right? So it's just being lazy. So they kick it back to a lower court, and that is very
Yep.
frustrating because when you kick it back to a lower court, it's going right back to the same court that put whatever fucking nationwide injunction on him and stuff like that, and you know it's not going to get resolved, right? And then he's got to appeal it again because the lower court's going to say something stupid again, and then he has to appeal. It's just dumb. It's stopping him from doing okay what it is that he's supposed to be doing. It's just that's all we want them to do, man. And same thing with the lower court judges. Just follow the fucking constitution. Stop with the activists and whatnot. It's the activism is just ridiculous. It's insane. And it's mainly coming from the left. And every now and then we get a fucking judge on the right that has to do the right thing because it's brought to their court, and stuff like that. It's just nuts, man. Just wish that they would just fucking do what it is that they're supposed to do, but they won't. You know,
No, no,
it's just crazy.
I
Uh,
don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but man, they just, yeah, they're very upsetting.
yeah, extremely. It's tough to take sometimes, man, because it's just like it's tiresome to even talk about them because, like you said, man, they're fucking 1 minute they're doing something right, and then they'll take one step forward, but then 3 steps back.
Mhm.
It's not even like a one for one. It's like one step forward, 3 steps back. And all right, so we just keep losing, right? In the end, we're just still losing, and the people are losing. And, it's just, it's very fucking frustrating with them.
It just makes you wonder, like, what was the point? What was the point of getting the advantage? Like, this should be, you know, they have a tech. I mean, on paper, there's supposed to be a
Yeah.
6-3 advantage
I know
for
it's
conservatives, and it doesn't seem like that at all, right? You would think it was the completely the other way,
right.
completely.
Yeah, no, it's
Really,
been fucking nuts, man. Um,
I don't know if it's corruption or what, but man, they just it's like less and less they want to make a call on things.
yeah, it's just fucking that's again, that's what frustrates the shit out of me. Just make a call. Whether we end up liking the call or not, just make a call. Like take up the case, make a decision. We know we're not gonna listen. We know with these clowns, okay, that we're not gonna necessarily get the right decision. But just stop. Just do your fucking job in the end. You know what I'm saying? Like just the simple fact that the president of the United States and his administration has to continuously appeal to the Supreme Court, that should just be the biggest red flag to them that things are not going right and that this judicial overreach is a problem, right? Like they should want to step in and fucking squash it and just put an end to it, right? So then they don't have to deal with this shit, right? Because it's just the appeals are going to keep coming
Yeah,
to them. It's not going to stop.
yeah. I mean, yeah. The thing that scared me the most though is that when it comes down to what do you call it? Whether the judges have the authority. I mean, do you honestly think that they're going to vote against judges having the authority to do shit?
No, I don't
It's
think
not.
so.
That
Yeah,
doesn't happen. Nobody
yeah,
votes away. That's why we can't count on people like Congress to like
yeah.
vote away the term limits. They're not going. Who votes away their own power?
Yeah, they're never gonna do
It
it. They're
does.
never gonna take their
Yeah,
own power away from themselves.
yeah. That's the
No,
whole
we
point
know,
of
we
having
know
the
that.
three different branches of government because they're the ones that are supposed to check one another.
Right.
But
Yeah, we know that they're not. Right. You're right, man. They're never gonna. They're never. It's true. They're never gonna do anything. Um, they're never gonna really do what they're supposed to do, to do what's right. So it's gonna be a frustrating thing that we're gonna continue to unfortunately have to fucking bitch about because it's just not right, man. It's just fucking not right. So, um, yeah, we got some video here coming up right now. I saw this today. I don't know when this article came out. Uh, This is from the Daily Caller. When did this come out? This is actually today. It says gun owners can be, a lot of people know this already, but this is just, two-way talk again. Gun owners can be arrested for concealed carrying after crossing state lines, but there's a solution. I said this the other day, fam, that you should be checking with your state, whether they're constitutional carry or not. Get your freaking conceal, and then find out what states have reciprocity with them. That's just important. It says while Americans acquire training to apply for concealed carry permits, Second Amendment groups are pushing Congress to pass concealed carry reciprocity legislation so gun owners are not arrested after crossing state lines. We've kind of hit on this here. I know you've talked about this, Red Day.
Yeah.
It says the Daily Caller went to the NRA gun range in Fairfax, Virginia, and attended a live fire instruction in May. And then they said participants in Virginia. Participants who complete the class are eligible to apply for a Virginia concealed carry weapon. Now Virginia fucking they don't make it easy. Okay, Virginia is not it's not a freaking gun state, because it's their state legislature's blue. So there's a little video that was here that we can watch. Or what's his name? Representative Hudson. uh, I'll see where he's from after this. Um, is trying to take this on. He's really, really fucking trying to make a push. I don't know if this will ever happen, like what we were talking about. Of course, the page is freaking shot, so we'll wait for that to come through. So he put in HR 38. I was trying to get that to work. I'll get it to work in a minute. Um, but yeah, he's trying to get this reciprocity shit going for us. He's making a concerted effort uh, to what do you call it, to get this bill through. Again, I don't know how it goes through. And if it goes through, that's complete total. That's
I don't
different.
know. I yeah, I can't imagine. I don't understand how that's something that as much as I would love,
Go ahead, man.
I was just saying, as much as I would love to see like Congress to come through, I can't imagine Congress alone
Yeah,
getting that squared
yeah,
away. I mean, it seems like that would be more like a convention of states type of thing. Like they would have
yeah,
to individually agree, and it's never going to happen. Not all of them. Like there's just no
yeah.
way.
All we have to do is take a look at what the fuck is going on now with simple things. But here, this is
To
Representative
this
Hudson.
bill that you're introducing here, it's really interesting because this talks about conceal and carry permits, and if you have one in one state, you want that person to be able to use it in another state. Personally, I would love this because I actually have a conceal and carry in Indiana that I would like to use in the state of Virginia. Tell me about why this was important to bring up.
Well, H.R. 38 is my bill. It's called the Constitutional Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act. It's a lot of words there. But it's a very common sense, simple piece of legislation. It says that every state should recognize the concealed carry permissions of the other states in the same way that states recognize driver's license. So when I come to D.C. from North Carolina, I don't have to stop at the Virginia line and take a Virginia driver's test to get a Virginia driver's license to continue on. Virginia recognizes that North Carolina license. Now, I've got to follow all the laws of Virginia and each locality I drive through, but they recognize that that's legal. In the same way, when law-abiding citizens are traveling, they shouldn't be turned into criminals because they cross the state line.
And maybe this will be easier to pass in this House.
I hope so. We got it through Judiciary Committee. We got it through the House in 2017, but the Senate wouldn't move it. John Thune is committed to the issue, so I think we'll get it done this time. And President Trump campaigned on the issue, so we're counting on him to sign the bill.
We will watch it.
He did say national reciprocity. You're muted again.
Fucking sound today is messing around
There we go.
with me. I can hear you
It's all
perfectly.
good.
So Nina, I was saying you're absolutely correct. Another constitutional right. Fucking everything. Rumbles for sucks day. My sound is shit. Everything is just fucking up today. It's annoying. Yeah, we shouldn't even have to deal with this. But like I said, the last time we talked two-way stuff was Friday when you did all the two-way stuff, right? Yeah, it was Friday.
Yeah,
last Friday.
yeah, so, yeah.
I
Last
said
week.
everybody, even if you're in a constitutional carry state, you know, go get your freaking conceal. Find out what other states have you have reciprocity with, and like I can essentially travel just about everywhere from like down the rest of the seaboard, up a couple of states. I can go over if I'm driving, right? And you know, again, you should know this. You should know whatever the rules are in whatever state you're traveling to as well, right? Because you don't want to violate any rules. But most states that have reciprocity with each other is because they essentially agree with each other's, you know, rights uh,
Right.
in the states. So like that's why they have reciprocity and stuff. So you know, um, I'm fortunately in a good state for that. 36 other states recognize uh, the conceal here, even though we're a constitutional carry state. Are you guys? You guys aren't constitutional carry yet. Are you guys constitutional carry down there? No. Are you guys trying to get that?
God, I should know this, shouldn't I? No, we're not. I don't think we are. I think they've tried,
Right.
but I don't think it's actually. I don't think it's official.
Shot down.
Yeah.
Did it get shot down by
I don't remember
the
why. I don't
state
remember
legislature?
why. I don't know if I can't imagine it was the legislature that shot it down. Figure out if it's just or just stalled. They probably too much like there's probably like too much pork in it or something like that. I don't.
Well, you know
Probably
how they
trying to
do
like
all bills,
combine it
right?
with
Like
something
we
else.
can't we can't just have like single fucking item bills.
Let me
It's not
find
even just
that.
the federal government, like you said. The state does that shit too. It's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely insane. It's ridiculous what they do. Yeah, I haven't heard from Tom Lee, by the way. I've checked my went back a couple of times to check
Oh, I'm
my
sorry.
email.
They did.
They
They
did.
do have it.
Okay. All
Florida.
right.
I think what they're trying to do is open carry. Um,
Well, constitutional carry would be the same. Is this essentially? It's that's what it is. Open carry.
um,
It's
it's
being
not
able to.
exactly the same.
It is. It's to put it on your hip or to fucking conceal it in your state.
Um,
That'd be
it
in your
went.
state.
The constitutional carry law went into effect in 2023.
Okay. Oh, that's
Um,
good.
let's see.
Because I know in my state, constitutional carry for us is wear it on your hip or hide it. Only in the state. You don't need a permit to conceal in our state. But if you
Now, see,
yeah,
Florida, you can't do open carry. That's definitely. I didn't think so. I just said it said it's illegal
in Florida.
in Florida.
Okay.
It is illegal. However, they said even if you have a concealed carry license, it's still illegal. You cannot open carry. However, there's one caveat which I've seen on video many times. Um, Florida has this old this old rule that says if you are actively in the middle of hunting, fishing, or camping,
Hmm.
you are allowed to open carry,
Right.
and that includes traveling to or coming from.
See, that's
So
so to me. Then that's half-ass. Well, every state that does it, that to me, that's half-ass constitutional carry. Then it's not. You know,
there's
I know they're calling it
so,
that, but if you're telling someone they
so
can't open carry,
these guys on TikTok that will be walking through St. Pete and they'll
uh,
have their like AR-15s on their back and they're all carrying fishing poles. Of course, people are freaking out. Oh my God, these people have guns.
but
It's
they're
like a
going
fucking
fishing.
blue area. They're headed to the river or something.
Yeah, but
Going
they're headed
fishing.
fishing.
And they call the police, and then a lot of times the police have to get re-educated on it. Um, they don't. It's not because it's not something that people just do all the time, I guess.
Right.
But I will.
Huh. That just sucks though that you guys like that. You know what? But I bet if you look into every state's that is constitutional carry, there's probably some shit in there that's not really true constitutional carry, right? Like there's just to get like most of it passed and everybody to agree on it, they probably had to fucking give up shit. So I bet if we looked in even here, I bet if I looked into it, there's probably be some shit. I'd be like, well, we don't really have constitutional carry then, if we still got
No,
to do this, you know. Yeah, it's fucking insane. But like Nina was saying, it's another right that we shouldn't be having to fight for. It's just it's in our constitution. It's been there from the jump. You know, we shouldn't have any issues with that.
yeah, it should be. know. Yeah, it would be nice if it was just simple. Shouldn't have to be worrying about all the different rules and, can I carry it on my hip? Can I carry it this way? Can I carry it that way? Can I carry it in a box? Can I carry it with a fox?
I saw you guys. I know that. I mean, the Coasties have been This is an issue about about the Coast Guard, but I know ICE has been pretty active in Florida, right? You guys were fucking. I think I saw
Well,
like footage of some people on boats and shit like
just
that. They were boating people
oh
out,
yeah, they're getting people on boats too. The Coast Guard had increased their patrols around the Keys,
right?
and they've been
I wonder
catching
if this
people
is
left.
part of it.
They've been turning boats away.
No shit. I wonder
I
if
was pretty sure.
this big cocaine bust. I wonder if this was like connected with the Florida peeps down there. This says,
Maybe.
yeah, this was when was this? This was today too. It says the Coast Guard offload 20,500 pounds of cocaine. Yeah, this is in the
Wow.
Everglades in Florida. It says the U.S. Coast Guard offloaded a whopping 28,000 pounds
Hmm.
of cocaine at Port Everglades on Thursday. It says according to official press release, the U.S. Coast Guard seized contraband was the result of 4 interdictions in the Eastern Pacific by the crew of. Wait a minute, Port Everglades. That's Florida or no? The same Pacific by the crew of Coast Guard cutter. Yeah. Uh, is that Florida, Port Everglades? Am I fucking wrong?
I don't know about Port
All right,
Everglades.
now I have to look this shit up because I saw Everglades and I immediately thought Florida. Maybe there's a
I would have thought Florida too.
yeah, so maybe maybe it's not Port Everglades. Let's see where the fuck that's at. Oh man, yeah, man, that's Florida, bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's down.
It makes sense. That's where they stand.
Yeah, it's north of Hollywood. Yeah, it's north of Hollywood, man. Yeah, they got that shit all wrong. What are they talking about the Pacific? Am I just did I read that wrong, guys? This is- well, yeah, Jacksonville, Florida, in the Eastern Pacific, by the crew of it's the Atlantic, fam, by the crew of Coast. Who put that in there? Come on, Breitbart, you guys got to do better. Uh,
Right before I
it
fucked that up.
got me all fucked up. I was like, is there a Port Everglades somewhere else other than Florida? And then I guess this was in Jacksonville, Florida. So 4 incidents happened on May 3rd, 5th, 6th, and the 10th. And the May 3rd, for example, a maritime patrol aircraft located 2 suspicious vessels approximately 170 miles west of Mexico. So this is what is going on here,
Seven
fam?
hundred miles west of Mexico. That's definitely the
Yeah.
Pacific.
All right. So wait a minute. Maybe I'm just reading like a dickhead, and it's just that this happened in Jackson, Florida, but it's connected to the shit that happened in the Pacific. I think that's what it is. That even though this shit happened in Florida, I'm just reading it and I saw Pacific and it threw me off.
Like the ring
Right?
is
They should have
connected to
stuck with
something.
right. I think the whole ring is connected to what's going on
Uh,
over there. Yeah. So Nina says there's no Everglades in Cali. Uh
yeah, they don't have a railroad authority.
yeah, man. I think the thing is just connected. See, come on, Breitbart, you had me fucking completely toast on that one, man. I was completely toast on that one. I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? Port Everglades is like, that does not sound like the West Coast. Port Everglades. I was like, that's almost that has to be fucking Florida. Fucked me all up there, man. Fucking reading is
Did you
fundamental,
see
fam.
did you see that in Florida this week? Did you see that construction site that got raided?
Oh, yeah, and they just like took everybody, right? Like everybody got
200
fucking
people, I think. I
but I
think that
saw
was
them,
the
they were on the
total.
buses. They were on the buses like smiling and laughing and shit about it, the dudes that were getting picked up.
Yeah, I don't understand why they were so glib about it.
I was like, bro, you're about to go fucking straight to the shithole you came from, and you won't be making the money that you were making on this construction site. Yeah, and I saw some people on Twitter posting about it, some lefties in there. Oh, they went and they fucking raided this. Construction came to a stop. Now some people's homes or whatever won't be built. I was like, but you're not complaining, okay, about the fucking company that hired all those illegal aliens for cheaper labor and didn't hire fucking American workers to do that work.
Yeah. The
You know what I'm
guy had
saying?
the
So like,
nerve. Supposedly, the guy who was in charge of the construction site had the nerve to go um, on X and post how awful this was. And I think he took his post down. I can't remember the guy's name offhand.
Keep
Somebody
going,
like
brother. I gotta go grab some, but keep
somebody.
going.
I saw his post because someone took a snapshot of it and like posted it as an image, and he was getting completely erased. Like I didn't see one person that was actually supporting uh, his view that this was just awful. Everybody was saying, if you don't want to do the time, then don't do the crime. Um, saying illegal. Everybody's saying illegal is illegal. Um, but I did see people crying. I did see people crying about it on TikTok.
Yeah,
Um,
they were definitely
citing it. In fact, there was a couple guys that were actually supposedly from the construction site. They had a lot of different video that you didn't see like on the news or whatever. It looked
yeah.
like they worked there and they were trying to be like, "Oh, this is awful. This is just awful." Um, and on some of those pages, you definitely saw people saying, that this is the worst administration ever or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that a lot. I saw a lot on X. They were blowing that up. That look at this is. Did you guys vote for this? I was like, absolutely,
Mhm.
100%.
Well,
And
on
I was
X they
like,
were
what?
saying yes, but it was on TikTok they were saying no. So
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever. Yeah, if anybody says no, they didn't vote for this. They didn't probably vote for Trump in the first place. They're full of
Supposedly,
shit. They're
supposedly
full of
the
shit.
guy, yeah, supposedly the guy who was the construction site manager or whatever, supposedly he voted for Trump. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
pretty
dude,
sure.
if you voted for Trump, there's no way you would have had 200 plus illegals working on your site. There's no
Especially,
way. How could you
especially
not
after,
know?
and yeah, especially past January 20th.
Hmm. I mean, yeah. What made you? But that's the other thing too is I don't understand. Like you s- you see everything that's been going on
Yeah,
since January.
yeah.
Why are you still so cavalierly going about your life if you know that you're going to get caught?
Well,
I don't understand.
because this is what they're
I just
conflating. They're conflating, well, the term fucking illegal, for one, they don't understand it. But they, in their mind, when Trump and his team were talking about we're going after criminals, murderers, and rapists, they never once said that they weren't going to go after anybody else. They were just saying we're going to prioritize these evil fucking dangerous people that are more dangerous than the average fucking illegal alien. We're going to prioritize them first. But they never said we're not going to go after anybody else. Like, I mean, what? I didn't hear that. Did you hear that? I didn't hear them say anything about not going after anybody in particular.
I mean, there were so many times they were just pelting people like Holman and
Yeah.
Nome about who they're going to be separated families over and
Yeah.
over again. And
Yeah.
I saw interviews where they said no. I remember seeing interviews where they just said we're focusing on this or I know sometimes they said we're only doing this. Um,
Yeah, but they never
I
once
can't
said we're
imagine.
not going to go after anybody, is what I'm saying. So they may have,
Yeah,
you're right. They may have kind of skirted what it was that they were talking about, who it was that they were going to go after. But I always understood, my understanding always was that they were going to go after the gang, the MS-13, the what do you call it, the TDA guys, people, pedophiles, all this other shit, and try to get them out. These real hardcore, dangerous people first, the real dangerous people, right? But I've never heard them say once that they weren't gonna go fucking pick up people on a construction site, okay, who don't belong here. I never heard that.
I mean, it, it amazes me. I understand the people that say like we're showing up at. I understand the people that were showing up like at the court, um, and they got arrested at the court. At least they were sitting there, maybe trying to do something about it. I don't know what steps they were in. I don't know. Obviously, there's paperwork to file, and there's things to try to mitigate the situation. But
Right.
For everybody else that's just sort of like going about their lives like, oh well, I don't know, do they think they're never going to get caught or what?
I again,
I don't get
you
it.
know, I knew at some point that they were going to pivot when they felt they have done enough, and they have, by the way, they haven't stopped going after like these real hardcore criminals, but they did do some mass fucking some some mass deportation with a lot of them from the jump,
Yeah,
but I knew that they were
and
going
they're
to be
talking
coming
about
at some
and
point.
they're talking about increasing that too. They
Yeah,
want to
absolutely.
up it to like 3,000 a day.
Yeah, they're definitely talking about ramping it up. Scoob,
Um,
what is going on, brother? It's good to see you. If you're just joining us tonight, Rumble is fucking. I don't know what the problem is with Rumble tonight. Uh, it's just weird. It's not playing. I can actually see it in the Rumble studio. When I pull it up, I see that it's playing just fine. So hopefully people will pick it up later on after it just, I guess, gets processed. Whatnot. It's just dumb. It's just the weirdest shit that nobody could see it. Like we didn't have this problem last time. The last two times. What is going on, Major Zap? Hail all you Muppets. What's up, brother? Um, yeah,
would you call him a Muppet?
he called us a Muppet. uh, what are you talking about? Conserve says he wants an answer that is never given because no one asks if they have all these undocumented, where are the giant bags of the documents collected from the southern border? Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I would say that they probably got it, and obviously they know who these people are. Um, you know,
Do they, or do they just not care?
I don't think they just cared. But he's not wrong, right? Like that's a valid question, right? Like because supposedly under the last administration, right? We saw it. We were hearing reports all the time. He's not wrong about that, right? That there were bags of like documents from these people dropping their shit on the other side of the border, okay, so that we couldn't identify them here in the U.S. So we supposedly
Right.
have a lot of this stuff, or at the border as well. Okay, if we have a lot of this stuff, we should be going out now. We must have it because like we've been picking up people left and right. So whatever information is in the system, whatever information that we have on these people, they've gone from freaking picking up the MS-13 folk to now they're picking up the people who still should not be here. Okay, they broke the law to get into the country. They are criminal aliens. All right. It doesn't matter if they're working on a construction site. You should be more upset. Okay. You should be more upset at the fucking construction firm. Okay. That he's upset that all these people are getting taken, but he hasn't hired any Americans for the job. That's what you should be
Right.
upset with.
Right. That's yeah. I mean, look how many were on that one site, one job site
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. 200 people,
I
man.
mean, 200.
Bro, that's
I
a
mean, for crying out
bro.
loud.
Do you remember? That's a throwback to like the last time that I saw shit like that happen was in the 90s when fucking Immigrant used to come in and just like raid a warehouse or some shit where people worked, okay, and picked up a whole bunch of people at once. I haven't seen that happen since then, since like the late 90s. That's the last
Mhm.
time I think when it was what do you call it? Immigration and naturalization, whatever it was called at the time.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
INS. INS. Uh,
Oh, sure. Yep.
yeah. But do you remember that? They used to do that back in the day. They would
It
go to job sites and just round people up and stuff like that. They'd find out where
was
all these
the thing.
people were and just pick on.
Mhm.
Actually, they would just scoop everybody up. You know what I'm saying? And then if you could prove that you were like, if you couldn't prove, you ended up. Remember that movie, fucking Born in East L.A. with Cheech
Yep.
Marine? He
Yep.
ended up getting deported and shit when he was an American citizen because he didn't have his license on him.
Yep. Morning is still.
Yeah.
I remember that.
But yeah, and this was in Florida, right? But don't you guys have E-Verify down there? Or no?
I think so.
I thought E-Verify was like a big down in Florida.
It just shows you, but doesn't mean it's only if you use it. I mean,
Yeah,
the man,
Major Zap, I
was he
remember
possibly
Sheriff
paying
Joe.
all those people under?
Yeah,
Were they possibly paying all those people under the table? I have no idea.
yeah. Yeah, I remember Sheriff Joe, Major Zap, who he used to put his freaking criminals in panties and shit.
Uh,
Do you remember that shit? He used to
that
put them in pink
I
panties
don't
and fucking
remember.
He used to do crazy shit, man. He got in trouble all the time. Sheriff
I
Joe,
do
he was
not
getting,
remember that.
he would get in trouble all the fucking time.
Wow, that's ballsy.
Yeah, they stayed fucking, he stayed in trouble. But again,
I don't know if
uh,
I would fly now.
I think conservatives right about that, but they got to have something because they're picking these people up, right? So they obviously know where these people are. They've always known where these people were at. The last administration knew where these people were at. They just didn't go get them. And I'm
No.
glad to see that the court has now stopped that fucking that direct flight shit that was going on under the last administration,
Oh yeah,
par- in
thank God.
particular into really red states
Yeah,
to try to change the
thank
demographic there.
God. My God.
So it's
Just think
good that they're
about that.
rolling.
Just think about all the things we were dealing with like less than 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, Major Zapp said he lived because we were talking about the mass fucking the pickups, the roundups. He lived in
Mhm.
Arizona when all that was going on and busting down doors with APCs and haul people over the border. Yeah, that shit. But that didn't even just happen in Arizona, man. I can tell you that shit was happening in New York City, right? In the garment district
Yep.
in Manhattan, they would go into those fucking into those freaking factories and just be constantly picking. My dad tells me a story. It's hysterical. He said that one time he was in working in one of these factories, and INS came and fucking rounded up everybody, and you know they took a whole bunch of Dominicans, right? And they looked at him and they looked at him right away. It's like, yeah, you're Puerto Rican. They just kept going, right? He said that he says because I remember starting the day at like 6 in the morning, and we had a whole full fucking warehouse, full factory full of people. He goes, but by noon, he goes, I was the only one working on the floor cutting fucking patterns. He's like, there was literally nobody else. And he's like, he said the guys looked at him, they knew he was Puerto Rican, but one guy finally came up to him, he's like, you got ID on you? And he pulled out his license and everything like that. And he's like, I just got to check you because we can't say we didn't check everyone and stuff like that.
Right.
But the dudes that came in, they was like, yeah, we know you're a Boricua. We're just going to fucking keep rolling. They rounded up a whole bunch of Dominicans in his factory. And he said, man, he goes, I was literally the only person on the floor cutting patterns and shit for whatever it was he was cutting at the time.
Like at that job site up in Tallahassee, what would have happened that day if you just didn't have your ID with you?
Yeah.
Probably would have been fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, my whole thing is like I said, I'm okay with legal immigration. Come here the right way, come through a port of call. Uh, you know, we got people some of the people who watch our show took them 24 years to get their citizenship, and they did it the right way, including they served, the nation and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
it's just crazy. It's absolutely nuts, man. But it's good to see that they're rounding people up, and again, I never heard anything about them not rounding up people who were working on construction sites. I know that they were going to be
Been a
they were
while.
going to they were going to be going for the gangbangers and whatnot first, but that they never said. None of these people, Holman's been saying that none of these people are off limits. Just that they
Right.
were going to get the violent people first. He's
Right.
been pretty adamant about that. You know.
Yeah. I mean, no, illegal, illegal is illegal.
Yeah.
That's, don't call them anything else. That's just what they
Yeah.
are. You
Yeah.
try
It's
to say,
true.
oh, they're undocumented, or they're imminent. What's the other word they use? They recently documented, or some bullshit. They kind of keep
Yeah,
changing all the words
undocumented,
around.
and they change the shit all the time, just to fucking make it more what do you call it,
To
PC, and make it more.
sanitize the language.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
it's crazy.
ridiculous. They do it just to not use the bad.
Yeah,
Because calling somebody illegal is obviously they're breaking the law.
yeah. So, Major Zapp, are you looking for what it says? What does the book on the Statue of Liberty say? Something to the give me your tired, you're poor, your huddled
You're
masses
tired, you're poor.
yearning
Hmm.
to breathe free.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Does
Doesn't
that
say
mean that
anything
people
about
should?
freeloaders.
It doesn't say about anybody coming in and just fucking doing the shit at will, right? Like just breaking our laws to even come into the country. That doesn't say anything in that. There's nothing wrong with people immigrating to this nation, right? What would happen to us if we tried to immigrate to anybody else's country and we just fucking hop their border? What do you think would happen? Well, we're
They
not
would
going to
give
get
us a house
welfare.
and a free bowl of soup.
Yeah, well, we're probably not going to get a fucking hotel, like, and stuff like that. There's a big chance that's not going to happen. I get
With
that.
free healthcare, free education, free
Yeah.
everything.
Well, unless you come from like one of the Muslim countries in Europe.
You know, you know
Yeah.
what? Here's a question that I've been dying to ask a liberal. For all the people that are like, we have to do this. It really it can apply to anything. It can be applied to illegal immigration. It can apply to climate change. It can
Hmm.
apply to I don't know, abortions or anything like that. Honestly,
Yeah.
I want to start asking them. Okay, how much have you how much of your annual income have you dedicated to this?
None of it.
Zero.
None of it.
Zero.
It will all come back. None of it. They want
I
they want
mean,
everybody else to pay for it.
right. But the thing is that they want everybody to pay for it. That includes you. And obviously, you know that not everybody's paying for it right now. But if it's something that
Right.
you care about so much, how much of your personal income
Are
have
you going to
you
pay for it?
spent? Obviously, you're going to have to spend more than quote your share until we get everybody on board. So, how
Right.
much are you willing to spend now if this is something you really just near and dear to your heart?
Yeah.
Right? Because honestly, I mean, what if it was something that you really cared about? Say, like, um, like a worst case scenario. Suppose your parents lost their house, right, in a
Right.
fire or something like that. They were okay, but they lost their house. You, brothers, sisters, whoever, family, they would freaking do whatever they could to
Right.
make sure that they didn't sleep on the street, right?
Correct.
They'd take them in. They'd help them find an apartment. They'd be paying
Right.
for food. They'd be bringing this. That's what happens
Absolutely.
when you really, really care about something and somebody.
Right.
That's what you do. These people don't give a shit about the situation. They
No.
just want to feel better about it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, I don't know what the fucking dollar number comes. Like if we were say like to just like go back to like what Biden did it for the last 4 years, where they were just letting in millions a year. I don't know. I don't even know if anyone's ever quantified how much that really cost the country. It was trillions, probably. What that comes down to per person, whether that's a few $100s, a few $1,000s, several $1,000s per person, technically with all the taxes and shit that they appropriated for these people. I haven't seen anybody saying, I've dedicated my entire salary so this family can stay here. Nobody's
Never
doing
gonna
that.
happen. Never
No
gonna
one's doing
happen,
that
bro.
shit.
Yeah. Never
No
gonna
one's
happen,
moved
man.
out of their no one's moved out of their house so that some illegal could live there instead.
Right.
Nobody. If that's happened, I want you to show me that online. Show me someone that's living on the street so illegal can live in their house.
Yeah.
Because this is
Well,
not. These
I think
people
if it was
do
actually
not
happening,
care.
bro, if it was actually really happening, and that was actually no, there was I think there was a case in New York where someone got
Mhm.
taken in. They took some people in, and of course they got robbed and all that other shit and everything. But it didn't work out the
There
way
you go.
they thought it was gonna work out.
Yeah, exactly.
It, but the back to what you were saying, okay, they're not gonna give up any of their money, bro. They want to pay with everybody else's, okay.
It's
Um,
yeah. They want
fucking
they'll pay
Scoop.
like some piddly amount, but they want everyone else to pay for it.
Look, man, Scoop, bro. Scoop says he just if they didn't do U-turns in the middle of the intersections, maybe it'd be different, but enough's enough. he just that's it, man. Fucking deport them all because they're doing U-turns in the middle of the street. Yeah, the left, you're right. Jonathan is right. Conserve is right. Okay. And we're right. They're never gonna give their money, man. They want a virtue signal because
No, they're
it's not
all
even
fucking.
actually it's not even about virtue signaling for them. It is just to sound good. It's a sound bite, right? And it makes
Well,
them sound
that's
good.
what virtual signaling is, though. That's all it is. It's a dog whistle. It's they wanna, excuse me, they want to feel good about the situation. They want to
No,
feel like they've spoken
but I
up
don't
about
think
it. But
but
in the end, when the rubber meets the road, they're not willing to put themselves out in
Correct.
any capacity.
But what I'm saying is, it's not even for me. Just my mindset is that the reason I said it's not virtue signaling is because it's not even for them to make you feel good. It's just to get the fucking soundbite that they said it. They could care
Well,
less,
they
right?
want to
Because
feel good about it.
all these people they live with, they have security, they live behind fucking gates, in gated communities, and all this other bullshit. They're millionaires now and
Look at
everything off the fucking taxpayer dime and stuff like that. They could give a rat's ass. They don't want any of that shit to go away, right? But if their
look at what
constituents,
happened.
like, but let me, I'm almost done, and
Go
then
on,
yeah,
finish.
I said, but if their constituents, for instance, people in
Mhm.
like AOC, right? Her
Yeah,
constituents keep fucking voting her in. All right. She hasn't done shit for her community, but they keep voting her back in, right? And stuff like that.
that's
So for her, she'll continue to say
that's a
things.
separate issue.
She'll continue to say things, but she's full of shit to tax the fucking rich while she's rich herself. Bernie with fucking homes all over Vermont and everything else, and fucking Nantucket and shit. But go ahead, what were you gonna say, brother?
Well, now two things. Um, One, just a quick point. I actually am kind of over the fact that people look to their congressional representatives to worry
Yeah,
about the local community,
yeah, it's
because
true.
honestly,
That's
they
true.
don't. Not
They don't
anywhere. I
care.
mean, once in a while you'll see them making appearances, things like that, but they're not. You're not electing them to worry about your
Yes,
county or whatever. It's just
yes,
not.
you're right.
That's what you have state rep. That's why you have state reps. You have aldermen and city councils. That's
Hmm.
their job to worry about the man on the street.
Correct.
You're the representative in the big picture. That's
Yeah.
who the AOCs are supposed to be. So I kind
You're
of
supposed to take what you're supposedly doing, what's being done in your community, and bring that to the fucking national stage to fight for your constituents back. But they don't do that, bro.
but they don't
You're
do
right,
that
man.
either.
But we talk
But
about that all the time, right? Like how often have we always said local, local, local? If you're not paying attention to what's going on
right.
locally, it's never
But
gonna
vote for
fucking
your
work out for
local
you.
person.
Correct.
Your local person needs to worry about that.
Yeah.
You want a voice on the big stage. That's what you vote for your senator and
Yeah.
your
And your
house rep for.
congressman. No, you're right.
But the
What
other
was your
thing
second
was
point?
when Ron DeSantis dumped that plane full of illegals at was it Nantucket
Nantucket. Yeah.
or Nantucket?
They mo they
Uh,
mobilized the
how
National
many
Guard for that shit.
mobilized really fast? Did one family take any of them in?
None. Not one.
Those big ass homes, those
Not one.
8, 10 bedroom homes.
Yeah.
Any single one of them take them in? They were
I
saying
think
like,
they
"Oh, we don't have the resources, dude.
yeah,
You
I
are
think
the
they put
fucking
him in a I think they
resources."
fucking put him in a school gym like everywhere else, fed them and just had the National Guard scoop them up and take them out. Period. They're like, "Yeah, we'll hold it down here in the
Took them out,
gym."
dude.
Okay, and
They
they
didn't
took
have
them
to do
out.
shit. Those are the people that are like Nancy Pelosi. They've got fucking $50 ice creams in their fridge.
Yeah.
They could have clothed and fed and housed all of those people.
Yeah.
They
And
have
it wasn't
those
what
are
was it
the
like 30
those are
something
the
people? It
it
wasn't even
wasn't
that
even
many people.
yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't even
wasn't even that many.
50. It was less
Yeah,
than 50.
it was less than 50 people. It was like 38
They
people
could
or
have
some shit like
absorbed
that.
they could have
Yeah.
absorbed them
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not even
Not
like
they could have absorbed
nope.
them and made them disappear. How about that? Okay,
Mhm.
in that community, 38 people. It might have been something, more than that, but I think it was definitely less than 50
Yeah.
for sure. Fuck, man, I'm really upset about this whole shit with Rumble, man. We've been doing so good on Rumble. Yeah, like I said, the studio is definitely it's rolling. And if I pull it up, what do you
Mhm.
call it? If I pull it up and stuff like that on the Rumble studio, it's there. It's crazy,
I
man,
don't know.
that this shit is just not working. Let me go into the studio and see if it's still going. Yeah, it's still recording, man. Well,
That's
hopefully the video
weird.
will be there later for people to watch, man. It just sucks that fucking Tom Lee couldn't make it. I told him about that traffic, man. I told him you got to get out early. I even gave him a window. I was like, if you're driving from here to there, get caught in the traffic up north. So by the time you get down to where you're at, you won't be in that freaking traffic down there. And even
Hmm.
then, that's still iffy. Uh, Scoop says $50 ice cream is wild. He says, let me get a Gucci pop too. It's true.
Yeah. Well, we all saw
It's so
Nancy,
true.
drunk having her ice cream during COVID. Like, oh, this is what it's okay to sit at home and relax, in quarantine. You know,
Yeah, her
that's what made
vodka
me
laced ice cream.
sick to my Yeah, that made me so sick to my stomach. Like, listen to these fucking celebrities talk about, trying to encourage people to, shelter at home. And
Yeah.
they have fucking, bowling alleys and fucking, Olympic pools in their backyard. Oh, yeah, stay at home is no big problem for you. You're at a fucking resort.
Oh, yeah. He's just like, you live at a fucking resort. You have nothing to worry about. But
Yeah,
all of them were all
I'd
full of
stay at
shit,
home
right?
too.
Nancy Pelosi didn't stay at home. She went to her beauty salon to go get her freaking 3 strands of hair fixed so that she could put her wig on afterwards and whatnot. Um, you know,
And they
Newscomb
all
was out
did it.
hanging with fucking
Newsom
people.
was out.
Yeah, yeah,
The mayor of Seattle was out. The governor of Michigan got caught. The mayor in
yep.
Chicago got caught. The mayor in New York
AOC
got
got
caught.
caught. Yeah, AOC got
AOC
caught.
got caught.
Yeah, they
AOC
all
was with her
AOC was
with her
down in
boyfriend
Florida.
with their fucking yeah, they were fucking in Florida chilling because we didn't
Yeah,
have lockdowns.
right.
And oh my god, it's just they're worst the worst people.
Hey,
They're
wasn't
just the
Governor Whitmer
worst
down there in
people.
Florida too?
Whitmer too. Yep, she got caught. No, Whitmer was didn't she wasn't she doing
Or was she
something
on a
on a
lake?
boat?
Or was she on a
She was
lake
on a
up in
lake. I think
Michigan?
she
She
was
was on the
having like
lake
a
on the
party
Michigan,
boat
yeah.
or something. Yeah,
Blondie
she was
would
like
know
on a
that.
party boat or something.
Yeah, Jonathan, where did Governor Whitmer get lit up on for fucking violating her own rules? I think Red Day's right. I think it's what do you call it? I think it was on a boat on a lake somewhere up in Michigan.
Yeah, I really do. I think it was a boat. She might have gotten
It,
caught more than once, but
it's true.
um, one of them was on a boat.
Scoop says facts recording awareness videos from the McDonald's in their mansions, Richie Rich activities.
Mm,
Um, Conserve says that her husband went to their lake house.
Turn.
He then attempted to take the boat on the lake.
Remember those
Just
fucking videos? People couldn't even they couldn't even go sit on the beach by themselves. They were getting like
yeah,
arrested and like
man.
told to get off the beach.
Yeah, bro.
Like, we can't believe we lived through this bullshit.
I know. Can you believe that we lived through that shit, man? It was wild, bro. It'd be like one person on the beach and the fucking sheriffs were coming to pick them up. I know they were doing that on the West Coast for sure. I know that was happening for sure, like out in California. They were scooping people up off beaches and shit like that. I was like, really, man? You can arrest they were and then if you remember, I think in California they were filling in like the skate parks with sand and stuff like that and everything so people couldn't use the skate
Hmm.
parks.
Oh yeah,
They were
they
literally taking the
fucking they put the wood on the basketball
yeah.
rims so you couldn't
Yeah,
play
they were just
basketball.
so
They're
you could
just
play
doing the
basketball.
dumbest stuff.
It was just retarded, man. All that shit was just straight up retarded. Scoop says, bro was really playing Hawaii 5-0 during COVID. Scoop, it is so good to have you back with your comments, bro.
Why 5-0?
We missed you, man. Uh,
Crazy.
we missed you, brother. If you watched us on Friday night, go back to that. I think it was Friday night. We did the give send go for one of Scoop's friends who has a brain tumor. Um, it's in the description. There's a link and whatnot. You know, Jonathan, can you do me a favor, man? I know you do a lot of shit, bro. Can you find that give send go from the other night and just drop it in the chat for Scoop's boy, so people can see it and whatnot. Scoob, it's good to see you back, man. I know you've been through it the last couple of months and whatnot, so I'm glad you're back with us, fam. We missed you, man. We definitely missed your humor. Uh, so, but yeah, COVID was just fucking crazy, man. It was just weird.
I
All the weird
swear,
shit that happened.
I told people all the time. I said, if I actually lived in a place like New York
Yeah,
or any place that was like really like going crazy with the lockdowns, I don't think I could have survived.
yeah,
I don't. I mean, I had it pretty nice down here in Florida.
yeah,
We went through 2 weeks of bullshit. Two
yeah. And
weeks.
then after that, it was over.
Yeah. Like they were literally. I remember 2 weeks. There was a time when you couldn't even go to the local park. They had
Right.
like the gates up and they're like no parking, due to whatever. I'm like, are you shitting me? You couldn't even just go sit outside by yourself. The
Yeah.
most natural, healthy thing in the world.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, and it was like proven that fresh air was just helping everybody.
mhm. Yeah. And I remember it was, and my wife at the time, she was like, she don't, because she went and got the vaccine. I didn't. And she was just like, I'll go to the store. I'll go to, I don't want you to get sick. I'm like, this is before we even had anything proven. And I was just obstinate back then that I wasn't getting jabbed. Um, I just can't believe we had to deal with that.
Yeah, I ended up in the end,
It's
getting pushed
embarrassing.
out of. Yeah, I refused to get it for where I worked. I worked in a hospital, and I was in the hospital at the height of like right at the beginning, and we did rotations on the freaking ICU floor and whatnot, and people were getting rolled out, dying and shit like that. Everybody was getting exposed to it at the time, and I still refused to get it. I wasn't gonna get it. I still haven't gotten it.
See,
Not going to get it.
I had nurse friends back then. I had a lot more nurse friends back then, and they
Right.
were telling me they were telling me they're like, Shh, don't believe what they're saying on the news. Don't
Yeah.
believe it. They said when they were like, oh my God, this ICU is at full capacity. They're like, yeah, they've got 3 beds. That's a 3-bed ICU
Yeah.
hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Oh,
is.
it's 300%. Yeah, because they went from 1 bed to 3 beds.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. A lot of that was true. Um, my ICU, what did they have? It's like 12 beds, I think, the ICU. There were rooms too. So, and it was just like
Yeah,
it was jam packed. And I remember
remember those?
this one medical assistant that was doing like other stuff too in the hospital. She
Mhm.
was rolling bodies to the morgue, like left to right. I was like, "Yo, you're a fucking trooper." She's like, "Well, they're paying me, so so I'm gonna do it." But listen, not to take any light away. Not It's not that people didn't die from it and all that other bullshit, but a lot of the shit was bullshit. Okay, all of the a lot of shit coming in the news was like like Scott was just saying, inflating numbers, right? Oh, they're at 300%, but they only had 3 beds. Of course, they're at 300%, right? They only had one people, now they have 3 people, so they're really at 100%. Okay, because they
Yeah.
have 3 beds. You know,
And the
um,
fact that
it,
they were and the fact that they were diagnosing anybody with the flu, that's
yes,
COVID.
yeah.
We know that now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, anybody who died from whatever, they was still labeling
Mhm.
it as COVID, right? So
Oh yeah,
they were skewing the
the
numbers by saying if you had COVID, right, but you died from a fucking tumor, okay, in your lungs, all right, then what do you call it? Yeah, it's true,
it was worse
33%
than
more.
that.
That yeah, it's
It was
yeah,
worse than that. There were people dying people that were sick that they died in a motorcycle accident.
yeah, I
They were
know.
counting it as a COVID
Right,
death.
right. If they right, exactly. If they died in a motorcycle accident from the catastrophic accident that they had, but they tested positive for COVID while they were still in a coma before they died,
Mhm.
then they said they died from COVID, right?
Yeah.
And it was just fucking nuts. Canadian Black MAGA, 33% more every week. So right.
Yep.
Uh,
All the
yeah,
time.
it was just a big farce. Again, and those of us who worked in the hospitals and shit like that during the time, um, we saw a lot of it in the beginning, and we saw a lot of people with comorbidities were fucking passing away. That's who was really who was really affected by, right? We knew that kids were fucking just really not getting it. Um, and stuff like that. And when they did get it, they were their bodies were processing it like it was nothing. The young healthy people in their 20s who were fucking fit and everything like that didn't affect them very well. It's not that they weren't outliers, okay. And
Mhm.
occasionally that happened. That did happen, right? Some people died who were perfectly fit. We get that, but those were outliers. That wasn't the norm, okay, of people who were passing. Obviously, the elderly but again, all of the elderly people that were catching it all had comorbidities. They were fucking, you know, recovering from lung cancer and they had emphysema, whatever it was. Okay, they had all kinds of chronic shit going on way before it, and that's what they probably died from, and it wasn't from COVID.
Mhm.
It just did it exacerbate things. It did, but that fudging the numbers. That was one big way they fudged the numbers, man. That everybody, if you had COVID, they just fucking and you died from something like you said, like Conserve says. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Conserve said that was a real man who was decapitated by hitting a tractor trailer on his motorcycle and was called a C-19 death. And then he says you had a man in Australia that was gunned down with a gun and bullets outside in broad daylight, and he was called a COVID-19 death. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, man. It's
And
just
the only thing that's worse than that is the fact that the people that basically orchestrate all that, they're still
yeah,
not held accountable for the lying that they did to the
yeah,
public. you know, people like Cuomo are still walking around. In fact, they're looking to run again in the election. I don't even understand how they should be burning that man in effigy
You know,
in New York,
he's
in the
probably
state
gonna,
of New
he's
York.
gonna get elected too, right? That
I mean,
motherfucker's gonna
it's
get
a
elected.
really good chance. There's a really good chance he's going to get elected.
That
Just name
motherfucker's gonna
recognition
get
alone.
elected, man. Yeah, yeah. It's just it's nuts, man. That whole shit was nuts. He was responsible for fucking tens of thousands of deaths, and people's grandmothers and whatnot. That I will always remember that people not being able to see their elderly parents or their grandparents and whatnot, and many of them passed and stuff like that in isolation, died with nobody to fucking see them off and everything like that. They weren't even allowed to see their religious, if they were religious, they couldn't see their pastors or whatever. Like it just the whole thing was just fucking terrible, man. Um, Terrible. Yeah, yeah. Conserve, you're right, man. He says a 70-year old woman with stage 4 cancer and receiving hospice care was considered a COVID-19 death. Yeah, it's endless stories, man. It's ridiculous how they inflated the numbers. And I don't know if you remember. Do you remember in the beginning of COVID, every single news station had the infected, they had the deaths, but they also had recoveries on there. Do you remember that? I remember that.
No, I don't remember
They had
recoveries.
recoveries. I
They
remember that.
definitely
I
had the
remember
ticker on there.
every single channel had recoveries on there. Okay, in the beginning. All right, and then they wiped that clean from their fucking feeds. All right, and it was just deaths and cases. It was the cases, deaths, but they also had recoveries, people who were recovering from it. All right, and that number was starting to get higher than the deaths. And the minute that started to happen, they fucking every single news agency took it off their feeds, and they just stuck with cases and what do you call it, and deaths. 'Cause I remember that specific. I know I saw it on Fox. I checked MSNBC. I saw it on MSNBC, and they scrubbed that shit from the internet. Like you can't
Oh
find
yeah.
any of those that old shit anywhere. But they were doing it right. Okay, they were doing it right. All right, they were showing all right cases, deaths, and they were showing recoveries and stuff like that, which is the way you're
Mhm.
supposed to do it. You
Was
know,
that so? That was in 20. Was that in 2020?
that was in 2020. That was in 2020 for sure.
Before or after the election?
This was before the election. It
That's
was in
fine.
the beginning. I'm telling you, it was like January. It was like from January, I want to
So
say maybe
early.
to March, maybe to March. But I think by February that shit was already off the ticker because it was showing that people were recovering at a faster rate. That the cases that of people who were infected,
Yeah.
like the numbers of people, they were showing recoveries. They were literally reporting it the way it should be reported, and then they took the recoveries off their screens. I remember that because I was like into it. I was in tune. I wanted to see how people were doing on it, and if people were recovering faster, and they were. And
Sure.
as soon as like it looked like it was all shit. We're not going to be able to keep this going forever. And like clockwork, every single freaking media outlet, okay, took it down.
Hmm.
You know, Conserve says, did you follow the Advent health scandal in Florida?
Yeah, that's good. You have to be more specific than that.
Conserve, add a little bit
I
more to
don't
that,
think
brother.
so. I don't think so because it's not ringing any bells. Was it a health scandal in regards to COVID? Because if that was so, I did not know about that. Not specifically.
Yeah, enlighten us, brother. Drop it in the chat, man. Yeah, I didn't hear about that again, but that's probably something we should have heard. It says Advent Health was using a third-party lab that was doing all of their testing for COVID-19.
Oh, nice. I'm sure they were not the only hospital doing that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Northwell up north. I'm pretty sure all the biggies were doing that. And again,
Actually
numbers were
applied.
probably getting fucked up.
Actually applied for a job with them
So he says that
several years back.
this is when the news came out, said that Florida had a spike of 70,000 cases. It was around that time. You applied to it? You applied for them to work for them?
I did, yeah. It was a recruiter job I was looking for at one
Uh-huh.
point, but never got a call back.
Yeah, says the scandal was being a scam. In the scandal, they used false positives and then fluff
Mhm.
their numbers so they could bill for millions. Yeah, that they were all doing it. I worked for Northwell up in New York, so I know for a fact that they were doing it. Yeah, it says Advent then canceled their contract and sued them. It, man,
Yeah, there's
look
just
at
a
this,
lot
man.
of shit with that going on. And it's, and that's the thing is that they're all happy to do that because, they have plausible deniability.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we didn't know.
Think, bro, think about how fucked up it is that 5 years later we're still talking about it, about how fucked up it was, right?
What's fucked up
And
about it is how many things are completely opposite now,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean, you can't, things that you couldn't say on social media 5 years ago that we probably all lost accounts over
hmm,
are actual, the law of the land now.
yeah, yeah. It's true, right? Like fucking everybody was getting canceled if you mentioned anything. If you tried to give any truth, you got fired
Mhm.
from your job. Uh,
Yeah.
how
If you
many?
criticize the vaccine.
I will say this, man. There was a significant amount of doctors that were trying to tell us, and many of them lost their jobs and lost their way of life. And that's a story that needs to be fucking told, right? Because trust the science is not anything science. There's nothing scientific about just trust the science. That's not how you do science. Okay.
Mhm.
And there were a lot of doctors, all right, from the get go that were just like, this isn't right. This isn't right. No, this is incorrect. All right. And we're trying to like alert the public, but they all got shot down, you know? It's just fucking nuts, man. Uh, that's a story that needs to be told too. The amount of doctors that were against not only the vaccination for it not being tested. It wasn't even about that they were against vaccines as doctors. They were just like, this isn't right. This isn't being done right. This is gonna hurt people and stuff like that. And they were trying to explain that we have other ways to heal people and stuff like that. And every time they talked the H word or the I word and stuff like that, they would fucking get blasted. And many of them, like
Yeah.
I said, lost their jobs and stuff like that. If they talked about hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin, it was over for them.
Yeah.
You know.
You get live stream shut down if you just mention those things.
Yeah. 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 Jonathan, you're right, man. Many doctors did lose their licenses for speaking out. Okay. And they lost their way of lives. All right. Fucking the way they took care of their family. So, you know, there were a lot of I want to say there were a lot of good doctors that were trying to fucking tell us, okay, that and again, none of them were anti-vaccine and all that. They just knew that something was not right and they were trying to tell you scientifically none of these numbers fucking work out. They were being the scientists and trying to tell us, okay, many of us, guys like me and you, we obviously listened to them and then they went away because we couldn't listen to them anymore because like you said, they got torched on whatever social
Mhm.
media they had that they were trying to tell people, right? And they got
Yep.
scrubbed, okay, from everywhere. All right. And they again they had to fucking fix the repair their lives, right? Again, they lost their livelihoods, many of them, and then they had to find out what they're gonna do to support their family during a time where lockdowns were happening, businesses were closing, fucking even clinics were closing and everything like that. So like there was like a big they were firing nurses and doctors and everything. So like it was just a whole clusterfuck, the whole thing with COVID. And we should never forget the shit that they put us through. Never forget that. We can never let that happen ever again. It was a fucking test, and they both succeeded and failed catastrophically. Succeeded because they were able to do it immediately, and it lasted for so long with the what was happening to us, but failed in the sense that eventually people were just starting to fight back.
Mhm.
They were able to do it in other countries, but here in the United States, eventually people was like, we had enough of this shit. There was too many states that weren't going with what the federal government was like. We're going to do our own thing because the shit that you telling us to do is just bullshit. It's all bullshit anyway. You know, um, states like Florida. Eventually Texas, right behind Florida, Christy Nome State, and stuff like that. And they may have done some things COVID-ish in the beginning, but they eventually opened up their states and did everything right.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, everybody. Everybody took a turn in the beginning. Like not everybody, just was perfect from the very start because we had
Correct.
never actually had to deal with something like this before. they never went to this extreme to try to control us.
Yeah.
And we all know why. We all know why now, why they did it.
Yeah.
Um,
But how about this?
it was literally just to get through an election cycle.
Scott, how about this, bro? The fucking Chinese dropped a biological weapon on the world, okay? And millions of
Mhm.
people fucking died, all right? And no backlash whatsoever for them,
Nothing.
all right?
Nothing.
Other countries didn't pull their companies out of their fucking country. What they should have been wrecked financially a fucking year after that happened, and everybody should have just shut them down. Okay, they did it. They're the ones. They released it into the world. Okay, they're the
Yep.
fucking culprits. All right. Obviously, we had a hand in it with Fauci and everything like that. We know that. We knew that then, and we know that now. Okay, he was a big part of it, funding that shit over there. All right, but they released it on the world, and if you remember what happened, they were when they shut their country down, they didn't send their workers who were working in their people who were working in foreign countries in Europe. They were sending them
Mhm.
to Europe. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's when it got released in Europe. All right, if you remember, China kind of shut their shit down because it got out of control very, very fast in their own country,
Yeah.
and then but they let their foreign workers who worked in Italy and in France and everything like that, they let all of them go. Okay, anyway, they worked in shoe factories and shit like that. They let them go and they dropped that shit on Europe. All right, that was done
It's
intentionally.
crazy. Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's crazy. It's just absolutely fucking nuts, man. We just can't let this shit happen again to us. Yeah, the monkeypox. Yeah, well,
Do you
we know
remember?
who gets the monkeypox.
You know what I remember? I remember the beginning. Do you remember the videos where they literally showed people like dropping in the street?
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if that was China or that was New York City, but
I don't remember anything in New York City like that. Being up in New
I
York at the
remember
time,
them like
I don't.
literally like them like literally trying to cover bodies.
I don't
Like
remember that in New
people
York.
were
That
dropping
very well
dead.
may have happened, but I do remember in Asia that was happening.
Yeah.
Their
Like
fucking
that's how
people
they
would
were
drop off.
presenting. Maybe that was specifically China, but that's crazy that that's literally like what they were trying to present it as, like, oh my
Yeah,
God, people are literally dropping dead. Like,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
Oh,
That shit was nasty, man. And let's not be fucking. I'm not gonna mince words. It was a bioweapon. All right, that's
yeah.
what it was. Okay, and it did its fucking work. All right, it did its work. And again, you know, they never paid for it. All right, they never paid for it. And in a small sense, I don't think he's thinking about it, but the shit that he's putting China through, what Trump's putting China through, to me, it's a little bit of a vindication. It's not much. I don't think he's thinking of it from a COVID
Well,
standpoint, what they did to COVID. But go ahead. What were you gonna say?
China now is the one that is basically propping up the WHO,
Yeah, yeah,
not us.
yeah. It's
Finally,
not
we're
us
we're
anymore.
we're getting our ass out of it, and now China is just
Did you
dedicated. I don't remember how many hundreds of millions doing
did
it.
you see what I posted on that fucking us in Argentina gonna kind of they were thinking about making our own who
Yeah,
doing our own thing.
yep,
I mean, Argentina, I love their president. Is fucking awesome, man.
it's funny. Yeah, he's a good guy.
he's he's great, man. He's absolutely hysterical.
I think there's enough countries that if we literally could get a group together,
Yeah.
um, we could probably attract other countries to join us.
Yeah.
Um, you'd figure Argentina would be in, Poland would be in, Italy would be in, uh,
Yep.
El Salvador would probably be in because we've
Oh
got
yeah.
a really good relationship with them.
We can,
Japan, maybe.
bro. We can
Um,
offset that shit right now
yeah,
with the
there's
fucking
definitely there's some African countries too that would
yeah,
probably want to get in on it too because they already wanted. There's a couple of them I think that have said they're kicking the WHO out too.
yeah,
We would all if we could just get like nine or ten of us together. Watch a lot of the world start coming our way. They'll
yeah.
start
Absolutely, I
abandoning the
agree.
WHO.
Yeah, I agree, man. I
Maybe
absolutely
not
agree.
your
We
maybe
could.
not your Canadas or something like that, but
Yeah,
we'll get people.
yeah, yeah. The conservatives right. He says if we behave like the world leader that we should be, okay, and really did positive ventures, agreed, was what we're talking about right now, it would be a world-changing event. Exactly what we're talking about. They already want economic stability. He's 100% correct. All right, a lot of these countries, bro, we don't hear it. Well, I mean, you and I, we're constantly paying attention for this shit, right? It's the reason why I keep bringing the tariffs back, right? Every time I see something with the tariffs, I always report on it because it is the negotiation, right? All the shit that fucking he did up front is just little by little. Just like on Wednesday, I reported how the EU has come running to him. They begged him for a 90-day extension. He gave it to them so they can come up with a trade deal with the United States, right? Like, he's setting shit right the way it should be, thinking about us first, okay? And it's why it's
Yeah.
frustrating when I'm looking at these clowns in fucking DC just snatching defeat from the jaws of fucking victory, man. Like, we keep saying it. Can we just get a win? Can we just get a win on something so then we can start pushing more and more and more? Let's get a win for the people, right? Let's get the people behind. The people are behind it already, right? You already got the populace behind it. Give us a fucking win. We know it's not perfect. We know it's not gonna be perfect, all right? But if we could just give us that one win, you'll have more support from us so we can get the next win. And then the next win, we can do a little bit more, all right, and a little bit harder and stuff like that. But they just, again, Republicans will completely fuck it up. They're gonna fuck it up.
They're
Yeah,
doing their best.
yeah, yeah. They just, yeah. I would like to defund them all, too. Uh, you know, it just, I agree with you. I'd like the UN to go to fucking Brussels, kick them out of the United States altogether. Uh, they get away with all kinds of shit in this country. They're not subject to our fucking laws, and they do. I remember Giuliani went to war with them. He lost, unfortunately, but he went to war with the fucking UN uh, back in the day and stuff like that. He had his people giving him tickets and all kinds of shit. But I would like to get rid of
It's
the UN.
very
It's just a waste of space.
yeah.
We pay to prop it up anyway, so it's just not worth it. It really isn't to continue to hang on to that here in the United States. I'm really upset, man. That fucking Rumble fucked up on us
Yeah.
today, man. It just really
At the end of the
sucks.
world. Like for this, we could still do it. That's the only point of keeping YouTube going is
Yeah,
for as a backup.
yeah. And vice
That's
versa,
about
right?
it.
So when we get pulled down on YouTube for some dumb shit, okay, which
Mhm.
has only happened since the inauguration was the only time we got pulled down, but that was everybody got pulled down that day. It didn't make a
Yeah.
difference the size of your channel. Everybody got it. If you were
Yep.
airing the inauguration, they didn't want anybody to air it. It's just really stupid. Uh, and we were airing it with with a channel that doesn't copyright people, and they fucking took everybody down. So we had to get Rumble up really quick. But yeah, it's why I keep them going because of this shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, um, yeah, we're gonna call it a little bit early tonight. I gotta get up early anyway, man. I gotta take myself to the VA and finally go get some shit. I need some
Yeah.
help with
Get
this
better.
sinus infection, man, before it turns into something worse. Uh, I've just been fucking maintaining myself. It's just, again, like I was
Sure.
telling you, it's just I'm fine throughout the day. It's at nighttime where everything sucks. Trying to sleep, I haven't had a good night's sleep all week. During the day at
Yeah.
work, nothing. I'm fine all day. Sitting on my computer, I'm just good. But
hmm
anyway, what do you got, man?
Gosh, I don't know. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I feel
sorry
like this
about
week's
all the.
just been.
Yeah,
I feel like this week has just been really, really busy. I'm like, I have like week 19 coming out on Sunday, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm behind. I haven't checked like all my regular
bro.
sources, so I feel like
But
I'm behind.
that's probably not even you, man. It's probably just the fact that shit is constantly happening so fast. It's so
It
hard to
is
keep
like the
up with
thing you
shit,
showed me
man.
tonight. I wrote that down
Yeah,
about the SCOTUS thing. Like I missed that one. I didn't
yeah,
remember seeing that. So
yeah.
um, I don't catch a lot of things, but
Neither do I, man.
probably the biggest thing from this past week is a lot of the stuff having to do with the environment
Yeah,
and the you know the fast tracking things and doing things within the country, like boost business and manufacturing.
Right.
It's probably from what I see so far, that's like the biggest thing. But like as usual, that'll come out Sunday, and yeah, just everyone just keep aware of like what's going on as much as possible, and don't get too down about these things that keep these
Yeah.
roadblocks that keep getting put in front of Trump's way, because a lot of the times the roadblocks disappear, sometimes just a few days later, sometimes a few weeks later. You
Yeah.
know, it's they're temporary roadblocks at best, and all they can do is try to slow Trump down and
Absolutely.
frustrate his base so they don't support him. Um,
Yeah.
that's
But
and that's what
I,
they're doing to some people.
yeah, but only there's some idiots who, oh, I'm not supporting it. Yeah, those are the idiots. They were never really on board. They're not like us, fam. We're here for the long game with him. We understand we only have a short period of time to fucking get as much done as possible. We're frustrated at the mechanism and the system that's fucking holding us up. That's what we're frustrated at. We know that he's trying to do what he's supposed to, right? And again, when there's something that we don't like, you guys know, you have heard both Scott and I fucking, we call it out if there's something we don't like. We bring it to you, we talk about it and say, yeah, that's bullshit. All right. But in this case right now, the system is just, if it's not the judges right now, it's the dumbass Republicans who just can't take a win and just start from somewhere, right? Like the momentum is about to completely fizzle out with Republicans, and they're gonna lose everything fucking the next election because they're idiots. If they could
We'll
give
see.
if they Scott, if they could give us a win like now, like soon, okay, it'll re-energize people a little bit, right? People just want to see this bill get through because there's so much good in it. There's so many things from his executive orders that are going to be codified in it, and that's what they want. We just want to get some of his shit codified, But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, yeah, what Scott said. Stay energetic, fam. Don't fucking
Yep.
don't give up the fight. This, we're gonna continue to fight and whatever like that. So, but I'll take us out, brother, and then
Alrighty.
close us out for the night. And I will see you on Monday, man. Oh, and just so you know, we got, oh, that's on
Who's on
Wednesday. Jake
Monday?
from Steak Farm. I don't think we have anybody next
Wednesday.
Friday, so just let me know. Yeah,
What about on Monday? Nobody Monday either.
Monday we don't have anybody on Monday. So if someone pops
Okay.
up on Monday, and well, I won't be able to do anything until I get home from work. But I get home from work
Don't
a
worry
little
about it.
earlier now. So, all right,
Okay.
man. I'll see you, brother. Have a great weekend.
You too. Get better.
All right, man. Well, America, that's another episode of Break the Machine podcast. I want to thank Conserve Reality, Rogue Nina, Canadian Black MAGA, Major Zap. Of course, my boy Jonathan Stevie, Scoop Livestream was in there with his comments. It's good to have him back. Um, fam, don't forget to sign up for the Discord. We want to keep that going. You know, we got a movie night coming up next month. We'll let you guys know when that is. We're on Scott. We're on Jonathan's schedule. He has a very heavy schedule. He mods for other people as well. Uh, so that's one of the reasons why we rolled it back, to give him some time for himself, because he needs it. Because he does a lot of great shit for us. Next Wednesday we have Jake from Steak Farm, the CEO and owner, Jake Ryan from what do you call it? I think it's Jake Steaks. We're gonna have him on Wednesday. Thanks to Blondie. Blondie hooked us up with that. So it'll be a bit of a Maha episode, and he sells all kinds of stuff from his ranch, as stuff as tallows and stuff like that as well. I'll make sure I have his website, and we put it in the link for you guys, so you guys will check it out. I apologize for Rumble tonight. I don't know what the fuck the deal is with them. They need to get their shit together, because they fucked it up. A lot of people were waiting on Rumble to watch us, and we lost a lot of viewership because of that. So I'm pissed off on Rumble right now. Get your heads out of your ass over there, fam. You guys got to get it together on Rumble. It's just annoying. Using their studio because they want me to use their studio, and then the shit isn't playing for everyone. So don't forget to pick up your Scars and Stripes coffee. Link is in the description. It's in every description. It's my affiliate link along with my code. Picks them up. Uh, go back to either, I think it was Monday's show if you can. The Give Send Go for Scoop's friend is in there, for his people. Guys has a brain tumor and whatnot. If you can give a little, give a little. We appreciate that. But again, next week, Jake from Steak Farm on the 11th. I will have my first Warrior Wednesday with Major Ed Polito. Should be a good show. Him and I, what do you call it? We kind of rocked it together, not together, but at the same time in Iraq and whatnot. We rolled in some of the same hardball. So his story is like a serious one, a real one. You guys will enjoy it. So I hope I see you guys on Wednesday the 11th. Come and hang out with us on our first Warrior Wednesday. I don't know what happened to the real Tom Lee Booze tonight. He was stuck in traffic. I haven't gotten anything from him. Hopefully I will. And we'll have him at some point. So I apologize if anybody came looking for him, waiting to see him. He just, he's on a U.S. tour right now. He was stuck in U.S. traffic, unfortunately, when I heard from him earlier today. So with all that said, I am the Big Real One Guy signing out. And remember that together and only together can we break the machine. God bless you all, and God bless America. I will see you all on Monday, fam. Have a good night.